So here's the kitchen, and we want to put under cabinet lighting in over here and over here, and we want everything to be controlled off of one switch. The problem here is that in order to connect these two banks, there's no easy way to connect wires from over here to over here. You can't really run them up and over, and underneath the basement there's not really an accessible place. So the plan's going to be to have two banks of lights separately powered and then controlled with separate Pico remote switches that are made by Lutron, and then we'll just mount those in two separate places. That way we have control of the lights coming in and out as you go through the garage, and then as you leave the kitchen going into the rest of the house. This bank will be powered from a power outlet that's up in that cabinet, and this bank will be powered from an outlet that I'm going to have to install in the cabinet above the range hood where the power for the range hood is. I use these cuttable strips of LEDs that have peel and stick adhesive on the back. I connected strips together after cutting them with snap-on connectors, small gauge wire, and heat shrink solder connectors. These are the switches I'm using. It's the Caseta system made by Lutron. It's the only system I could find that would allow me to have two wall-mounted dimmable switches, each of which can control both banks of lights, just like three-way switches, when the lights are powered from separate sources. I cut notches in the cabinet for the LED tape using my oscillating multi-tool. You can see the power supply cord coming down between the cabinet and the wall there, powered from the receptacle up in the top cabinet. I've got a video from earlier showing how I installed those outlets. Where that Ethernet plug is on the right will be where one of the new switches for the under cabinet lighting will go. I'm going to move that Ethernet cable to run inside the wall to make room for the new switch. That looks like a successful test. That light strip is on. Wires fed back in there above the fridge and around, and then over here. Now I'll tape up the lights on the inside of the cabinet, get them up out of the way. Here's how I stuck the LED tape lights to the cabinets. I didn't point them straight down at the counter because there would have been a prominent reflection in the counters. I wasn't a fan of that, and there's plenty of light when the lights are mounted this way. This is the existing flex conduit in the cabinet above the range hood that connects the range hood to the other kitchen outlets. That red and black wire is the low voltage wire for the lighting that I've already run. I'm going to tap into this conduit to power the second bank of under cabinet lighting. I cut the conduit and wires and then stripped back enough of the conduit so that I could install two new boxes and a receptacle. I pre-assembled the two boxes in flex conduit, fitted up in place, and then wired everything together. So you can see the wall-mounted switches aren't really switches at all. They are wireless remotes that slide into this clear plastic bracket, which you mount to the back of the wall plate and then just screw over the existing switches. Here's the final pictures of everything done and installed, all the switches in place, and the lights working. So the under cabinet lighting is complete. Got two banks, one over there, and we've got two three-way switches to control them. One over here as you come in from the garage, you can see it right there, and another as you leave the kitchen all the way over here. So we can turn them off right here. And then turn them on. Fully dimmable at both locations too. I'm really happy with how this turned out. Relatively easy to do, low cost, and it looks great.